We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Ezekiel, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with a new What If for you guys. And this What If is replacing, what if Ezekiel had mirages? And honestly, it's a really damn shame because I was really hoping that one would be a pretty popular one on this channel. But, what am I not? I am not too surprised. What if content is starting to die out a little bit on YouTube? And not to mention YouTube relying so much more on AIs for algorithms and bullshit like that. So there's that as well. But at any rate, I could care less. I still love doing what I'm doing, no matter if I get the views or not. And this is a what if that I'm looking forward to putting on the channel now. This is what if Ezekiel could summon Espers from Dislyte. For some of you may be wondering, and for those who forgot what Dislyte is basically a gacha game where entities known as Espers gain the powers from figures from mythology, mainly from that of China, Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Japanese, Mesopotamian, and Aztec pantheons, actually, ranging from gods, creatures, beasts, and also warriors as well. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And how Ezekiel's going to be able to summon them? Well then, just stay tuned and watch. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we guys? It's another typical day in Japan, as people walking on the sidewalks, going to work, spending time with loved ones, hanging out with friends, people driving on the roads, and currently a green net boy walking on the streets. At first look, the boy doesn't look any different, quite plain looking. However, with a couple of bruises, scorch marks, and him slumping and looking down at his feet while walking. As this boy being Izuku Midoriya. On the surface, he's just your everyday average kid, 12-year-old kid, who just started his first year at Aldera Junior High. And the start of his living hell. The reason why? Well, it's because the boy is quirkless. What quirkless may be, and in this current world, almost 80% of the human population has a quirk, while the remaining 20%, that being Izuku on the other hand, do not and are considered quirkless. Quirks are basically superpowers. With this, it can be literally anything from basically manipulating the elements like fire, water, wind, earth, and lightning, to basically have telekinetic powers, to even transforming one's body or having something completely and utterly different that's out of this world. The potential is limitless. However, unfortunately, with the rise of superhuman powers comes that of those who seek to use their powers for their own means and their own wants. People call them criminals, but now they are called villains. But the people who combat these villains are otherwise known as heroes. And Japan's current best hero, the number one hero, the man that inspires Ezekiel to wanting to be a hero one day himself, All Might, stands at the pinnacle as he's considered to be the world's greatest hero, for inspiring not just Japan but the entirety of the world itself. Ezekiel wants to be like that, a man always willing to save the day, protect others, look after them no matter what. To him, saving people's lives is the coolest thing in the world. But without a quirk, that's impossible, as people always kept on reminding him. From that of his own mother, to his former childhood friend, now turned tormentor, Katsuki Bakugo, with a quite powerful quirk, luckily powerful quirk, that allows him to sweat explosions. His teachers and fellow classmates have always told him this over and over and over again, that it's impossible to be a hero without a quirk, to the point that they even started belittling him, bullying him, and treating him like shit because of it. And for a kid growing up like this, it could do quite hell for your self-esteem after all. And now that he's 12, coming up to adolescence and a preteen, well, it becomes even more damaging now. Why am I speaking of this boy now? What is so important about him? That's simple, really. This boy would be chosen to come in contact with individuals who have powers that can even rival or possibly even surpass quirks. Currently walking from school, beaten, bruised, and pride basically non-existent, he decided to take a detour. Instead of going straight home like he normally would promise his mom. He just couldn't help but wonder why. Why is the world so cruel to people like him? People like him who just want to make their dreams a reality, who just want to help others, save lives just like All Might. Why is it so wrong for somebody to dream of wanting to be a hero? As Izuku thinks this, part of him couldn't help but tear up at this, as he was hoping that maybe for a fresh new start at Aldero. However, with Bakugo there and everybody already basically seeing him as a great hero all because of his quirk, the same boy that he saw as his childhood best friend now turned tormentor, it's almost like he can't escape no matter what he tries. And he doesn't want to worry his mother. He worries her enough already because of his quirkless status, to the fact that she struggles a lot providing for them, even with that of his father providing that of support for them overseas. Still, he can't help but feel himself as nothing but a burden. With that, Izuku just continues sulking to himself, before then coming around that of an old antique shop. Normally, antiques like this, stores like this would be phased out, not even cared about. Most times you can only see them in that of back alleys, where nobody basically cares too much about them unless you're shady or something. However, for some reason, this antique shop, currently in that of the downtown district of Masafu, is running quite well. As Izuku normally wouldn't care about this, but for some reason, there's a draw to him and he doesn't know why. As thinking about it, he goes inside, seeing that of the shop's name called One of a Kind. Pretty unique for a, antique shop. But then hearing somebody coming through the door saying, we have a customer. But then seeing that of a young woman wearing all white, with that of quite the fancy boots she's wearing, and having that of lightish violet hair. Not to mention, she has quite the unimaginable beauty as well. But then Izuku, already developing that of puberty, couldn't help but blush at her, saying, "Oh, sorry, I just come by after," but then saying, "Oh, by the look of your uniform, you're a junior high student, right? I don't get that many kids like you here as well. Most of them are mainly that of adults from collectibles, here only for that of collectibles and stuff like that." But then he's saying, figures. But then thinking, you sell collectibles? Do you have any? If you're asking if I have any hero merch, that's no way in hell, kid. I have stuff from that of long before that of the age of heroes. Within hearing that, saying, within seeing the kid down, saying, But if you like, there is some stuff here that I think you might take an interest in. Some of this stuff is antiques from all the way back before the age of quirks, after all, or the age before when heroes roamed the world, after all, and gods and myths took more precedence. Within hearing that, saying, "Really?" As Ezekiel, somewhat curious, but not too curious. However, his young mind couldn't help but find at least some interest in the place a little bit. While looking around, he sees tons of antiques and artifacts that you would see all across the world, outside of just stuff that you would see in that of Japan. Some from South America, a little bit from that of Africa, Central Europe, Center Asia, and so many other places too. As he couldn't help but think, wow, this place is something. So much stuff. You would never see this stuff anywhere unless it was in a museum or, well, even there you barely see a museum. But then saying, "Tell me about it." Most museums are all about that of reminiscing about the good old days of Hero Society and how it's built. Mainly around that of top 10 pros like that of All Might or any other pros from other countries too. Nobody thinks about that of the history that made countries what they are, the legends and lores behind them, or better yet, not thinking about that of individuals who could gain their powers. Within hearing that, Ezekiel couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, saying, "Individuals gaining powers?" Yeah. Within, the woman couldn't help but basically bring out that of an old book. Before then, showing that it says, "The Legends of Ancient Pantheons." Within, bringing out showing pictures of all of the myths and legends from mythology, from the Norse, the Greek, Chinese, the Egyptian, from current Japanese, and even so on and so forth. Saying, all of these, sure, currently now they're just considered gods, and some of them are just used as names for that of pro heroes nowadays. And trust me, even that of pro heroes can't even match the name of certain gods or great heroes after all. If anything, it's all nothing but talk. But then he's saying, "Hey, some pros are actually great and awesome. Some even rising up quite a bit in the rankings too." Oh, trust me, young man, I figured that there are some good heroes out there. However, they just don't compare to those of great legends of heroes back of yore. Heroes back then always just did things because they wanted to. Some wanted to become the best or the strongest. Some wanted to earn the respect of their leaders or even the gods that they worship. And some even did it just to protect their loved ones and only wanted to see the best in them. Those are the true heroes of yore. Even those of ancient creatures who are known for that of great and unimaginable power. Symbols of balance and strength. And even the gods themselves, selfish, entitled creatures, but some with that of noble hearts and ideals as well. Heroes can barely compare to that of those individuals. Within, Ezekiel can help say, "You say that so much. Why do you think that?" Within saying, just let's say I've met people like that. People who bear the true ideas of what it means to be a hero. And all I'm asking is just to pass on my own knowledge on what it means to be a hero. And since you're a young kid, maybe you can, if you're willing to listen. Within, he's saying, "Well, I still want to be a hero no matter what, but if I can hear your ideas on what it means to be a hero, then tell me, who are they? Maybe another time. Besides, it's probably might get a little bit late. Don't want to worry your folks after all. How about this? For basically speaking to a woman like me, who comes here quite a bit of alone from time to time, I'll give you one free item here in the shop. No charge or no tab or anything like that. How's that sound?" Within here, and that's saying, "Wait, seriously? Free of charge?" Saying, "Yes, free of charge. Go for it. Look around while you can." Putting up with that of my ramblings is a good way of basically showing good faith. As the woman couldn't help but give that of Ezekiel a kind, caring, and somewhat loving smile. with making Izuku blush, before then looking around even more. However, as he does the second time, he couldn't help but feel drawn to one item in that at the antique shop. One item that feels like it's calling to him, asking for him to come to it. But then, Izuku going down to that of one knee, seeing it at a display case. For some reason, it's drawing him to that single turntable, the kind of turntable that you would use for record scratching. But then, she couldn't help but smirk, but then saying, "Oh, drawn to a little bit of a record table?" Then saying, no, but I just don't know why, but what kind of record table is this? These things are quite ancient, and it doesn't look like it's something that you would see in those mythology books that you showed me, saying, that's fair. It's an old antique. For stuff like this, it's mainly for my own personal hobby. I'm a big fan of pre-quirk, music and all that. Not the kind of music that you hear nowadays. Everything is all flash and basically barely any substance, all to basically hype up heroes. But what about the music that just used to gives you pumped up, always excites you, gives you something to rush in to always do what's right, and always gets you head banging, or something that speaks to your soul, right? That record table is from a bygone era where music just used to have more of a freedom to it, instead of it feeling like it's something to just hype up the heroes. That's all. Thinking about getting it, like I said, it's free of charge if you want. But then, Izuku, for some reason, had never truly had an interest in music, besides a few times. He did want to try and learn how to play guitar, however, he didn't want to bug his mother about it back then, and just decided to just leave things be and just focus on his hero notebooks for the future after all. But seeing that this is a good way to get into music, as a good way to relieve that of stress and, tension that he has at that of, his new junior high school, and given how his first day just went a little while ago, maybe this wouldn't be too half bad. But then, she can up and say, "So, plan on going with it? Cool." As she leaps over the desk, within, seeing that of her figure even more, as even though her figure is quite modest, her hips, on the other hand, is quite something else though. As they say, the hips do not lie. As she pulls out that of a key, before then opening up the display case and giving the turntable to Izuku. As on it's actually quite small, to be honest. He expected it, as just looking at it, it seemed quite a big, but I guess from that of the display case, it's supposed to look big. However, it's still big that it covers both Izuku's hands, though. Within saying, "Thank you, Miss." Within she giving Izuku a kind and caring smile, saying, "Call me Disboom, sweetie, and let you know, whenever you use that turntable, just remember to have the spirit and heart to drop that beat." With Izuku hearing that, for some reason, he could feel that there's some importance behind them, but he just can't put it to words right now. Within saying, "Okay, thanks again. Bye, Miss Disboom." Within saying, "Bye." With that, Izuku leaves the antique shop. Before then, she's stretching, saying, "And that takes care of that." Stretching her arms in that of satisfaction. Before then, huffing and sighing, saying, almost 250 years, and finally somebody basically takes that thing. Now, with that, my business here is done. And time for the new... And now let's see. Will the Union make an appearance? Or will the Legion? Who could say? All I know is things are going to become interesting in the coming of years with a boy like him in charge of that turntable now. I wonder what music will weave this world now, and a boy with a heart like that in his hands now. As she couldn't help but have that of an anticipated and somewhat excited smile on her face. Currently now, Izuku back at home, trying to console his mother, who was worried about him for not coming straight home after, his first day at Aldera. And Luckily, thanks to the time passing by, the bruises that were on his body basically, well, fades at least a little bit, enough where his mother, Inko, wouldn't notice them as much as they would have before, getting rid of that of the scorch marks on that of his face and body from that of Bakugo's explosions. So there's that too. Makes things a little bit easier. However, the one thing that does pique her attention is that of the turntable, though. Izuku basically said that he came from that of an antique shop and he got this for free. But then, Inko was a little worried that, however, knowing her baby, she was more curious about why he got that of a turntable and not something hero merch related, given all of his, well, limited edition collectible All Might merch after all. With Izuku a little bit embarrassed from his mom calling him out on that, but then just saying that he just wanted something a little different. Plus, he has been wanting to get into music, but again, he didn't want to bug her. However, Inko hearing this couldn't help but have that of tears welling up in that of her eyes, realizing that her baby is branching out and stuff. Then, she's saying if he wants, she could basically try and get him some music lessons. Then, Izuku saying that won't be fine. However, she still wants to at least try and get him something into music as she wants to have it at least out of a bit of a surprise. As for Izuku, he's currently taking the turntable into his room, placing it on that of his desk, before then opening up that of the glass case before having it opened, and then fully placing on the desk, seeing that of its bright sheen. Not to mention, it's completely different from what a normal turntable looks like, actually. The kind of turntable, in the center, it has that of a bright orb. It has a bright orb spear around it. And in the center, where that of the disco, over it seems like that of a crystal that gleams right as well. With Izuku saying, wow, I knew this thing was big, was interesting, but having it in person, it's quite something else. As soon as he touches it, he could feel something coming from it, like an energy, something channeling right through that of its sheen, almost like power. Like that, is this what it feels like to have a quirk? But why? This shouldn't, I'm completely... But then, as Izuku continues to basically go deeper and deeper in this feeling, as his eyes constantly switch colors from his bright emerald green to multiple other colors like that of ruby red, sapphire blue, topaz yellow, and amethyst purple, and so many, many, many more colors as well. As for some reason, he felt like he saw visions of people and others. And these people were either that of celebrities within that of the music industry, fashion, business, acting, and yet they had powers as well that made them stand out. Powers that would make them look like that of a quirked individual. Hell, it was nothing out of the ordinary, but for some reason it made them feel different from the typical quirked person of this generation, of this world. Within, looking back at the turntable, placing his hand on that of the record already on it. Before then, he could feel that of a vibration right through it. With him, couldn't help but say those words that Disboon told him, say, drop the beat. As soon as he says those words, he turned the table. Before then, that of a bright rainbow-colored light consumes that of the turntable. Before then, it almost looks like a portal opens up as soon as that of the crystal over that of the turntable basically drops down, as it continues to drop while the rainbow lights consume. Before then, an act of bright lights come straight out of the turntable, and that consume Izuku, as he couldn't help but scream in that of pure and utter shock, bewilderment, and awe as well, with his face completely and utterly in that of shock, terror, and excitement and what as well. As these lights continue to go basically circle all around that of Izuku, before then the lights come down to the floor before materializing that of several individuals, almost in people actually. The first one being that of a young woman, a woman with quite that of the, well, voluptuous and quite seductive figure. And she's currently not standing. However, she's sitting on that of something that looks like a cage filled with hearts inside of it. Not to mention, she's wearing that of a full-on black corset dress that leaves everything kind of open to the imagination, down to that of her legs, to even that of a quite, well, cleavage window. Not to mention that of her bright purple hair and her big kissable lips with the red lipstick, and also that of a mole under that of her left eye. The other figure being that of a man wearing basically almost wearing nothing outside of that of a black pants, black boots, a black coattail clinging on that of the right side of his leg, with a black leather shroud wrapped over his shoulders and arms, with a tattoo that almost looks like that of a flower, or possibly even even that of a lion's mane, on that of his over that of his left torso, as he has spiky gray hair, with that of the center having that of one black spiked hair, with a few white bangs sticking out too, and a goatee with as he also has crimson red eyes. Not to mention the black spear that is in his hands. Last but not least is a man basically in that of a butler uniform, with his coat actually looking like that, like it's torn and basically floating, with wrappings over his body, with a cane that almost looks like that of an Ankh, or rather, if you look closer, it almost looks like that of an Ankh sword. However, what stands out the most is his head, the head that looks like that of a jackal, as he has a monocle over his left eye. The other one in that of Ezekiel's room being a woman, possibly in her, well, middle age, actually, possibly early 30s at best, with that of a full-on black uniform, tight skinny jean black pants, rhinestone boots, a corset basically over her that gives her one huge case of underboob, a wavy purple cloak over that of her left arm that also acts as somewhat of a scarf. She also has that of a single black wing on that of her right back. And not to mention, she also has that of bleach blonde hair, wavy, long bleach blonde hair, with that of a eye patch over her left eye. However, her hair basically covers even that of the eye patch actually. And she almost has a somewhat of a superiority authority that makes Ezekiel a little bit uncomfortable. However, the other three that also stands out quite a bit, the only one that seems kind of similar is that of a Japanese young woman that seems almost close, or possibly at least a few years older than Izuku. If you look closer at her, she looks like she's wearing a mix of a shrine maiden attire, given that she's wearing a shrine maiden shroud over her, with wearing that of a red sundress, and also wearing that of Japanese high clods actually, that makes her look at least a bit taller than she actually is. She's also wearing that of a white cap hat with bells basically woven into that of her shrine maiden cloak on the bottom, and also having that of a staff with multiple bells on to the tip of it, with that of her raven black hair. The next one being a young woman that, well, has the most modern and most basic attire than all the rest actually. The reason that stands out the most is that she looks like that of a, well, heteromorph quirk user, mainly because she's wearing that of long blue jean pants with that of red spiked up cowboy boots, a plaid skirt over that of her pants, a black tank top, and she looks like that of a fox or chihuahua, Depends on who you ask, as she has a fiery red hair mane. Not to mention the trombone that's basically in that of her left hand. And the last one is quite the beautiful young woman, actually, as she also has that of, well, black pants with that of open-toed black heels, with that of a golden blouse shirt that actually shows quite a bit of her cleavage, a, well, somewhat white veiled scarf that wraps around that of her arms and her waist, her multicolored hair that's a mix of, well, brunette and white. It goes well with that of her, well, caramel skin color, a white veil sun hat that almost seems a little bit see-through, actually, and the thing that she's holding that almost seems like a heart-shaped bell with a mysterious liquid within it, as these, well, 7 individuals are currently in Izuku's, well, cramped, well, bedroom, forcing him to basically stumble on his bed, seeing all of them in it, with a few of his, well, All Might merchandise basically falling to the ground, having him completely and utterly stumped and shocked about the people that he sees in his room, with that of different ethnicities and races, actually, with only one of them seeming Japanese, to be honest, which forced Izuku to basically freak out and scream, "Ah! Who are you people? What are you doing in my room? How?" Within, soon, busting right through the door, being Inko, knocking back that of the fox girl with that of the trombone, saying, "Izuku, are you okay?" Within noticing, who are you people? What are you doing in my son's room?" As rushing towards Izuku to comforting that of the young, well, 12-year-old boy. Within, soon, the Chinese man walks over to that of the mother-son duo. Within, putting his hands together in front of him, bowing his head, saying, "Apologies, ma'am, and apologies to you, young man. We didn't mean to startle you, especially when you were able to use that at the turntable." Within, soon, that of the woman and that of the black pink attire, with that still sitting on that of the massive cage with the hearts on it, saying, "Speak for yourself. This place is basically cramped as hell, but it can't be expected. By the looks of it, this is a Japanese apartment." Within, soon, the young lady and that of the, well, red sundress and having that of a somewhat shrine maiden attire, saying, "Indeed, this is something that you would see. This is the kind of small apartment room that you would see in out of a Japanese complex. Am I truly back in Japan?" Within, soon, both green-haired mother and son, still confused, before then saying, "Allow us to introduce myself. My name is Yanshan. I am somewhat of an Esper, you could say. And given that you were freaked out by us coming out of the turntable, makes sense. It's pretty weird seeing people come out of something like that old antique, right?" Within, completely caught off guard by this, as soon, somebody else finally spoke up, as then she gets off that of the giant cage before, as it soon completely disappears, making at least a lot more space back in Izuku's room. Within, soon seeing that of the All Might action figure beneath her, and brings up to that of her hands. Within, soon Izuku noticed her even more than before, no longer completely freaked out alongside Inko, and couldn't help but blush at that of the woman, saying, "The name's Alexa. Sorry to startle you like that, sweetie, but I guess like that of Yun-chan, you just don't know about that of Espers, or how the turntable works, don't you?" With then Izuku saying, soon, somebody else finally spoke up, being that of the jackal-headed man in that of the butler suit, going to Izuku and Inko, kneeling down, within saying, "Pardon us as well for starting you too. Allow me, madam and sir. My name is Drew. It's a pleasure to meet you, even though I haven't what your name is just yet. Please." Within, Izuku saying, I'm Izuku Midoriya. And then Inko saying, Inko Midoriya? Well, then realizing his voice, by any chance is he African American? Well, then saying, I see, thank you. By any chance, could you explain to us how you got that turntable on your desk over there? With then, Izuku noticing the turntable, before then looking back at Drew saying, I got it from a woman in an antique shop. Her name was Miss Disboom. With then, hearing that name, that of the black outfitted woman with that of the long white hair that covers that of her left side of her eye, saying, of course that woman would be involved in this. What was she thinking giving it to this kid? Of all people, was there anyone else that wasn't more mature or wasn't more capable? Within, soon, young Chung came up and say, Raven, saying, yes, yeah, whatever. If he has the turntable now, then that means he's now in charge of the union. As former leader of it, I guess it makes sense. Within, seeing the woman as she kind of has a bit of an intimidating and somewhat suppressive aura around her. However, she doesn't come off as, well, being mean just to be mean. More like she's saying all this as a form of worry and somewhat, as she spoke up once more saying, the name's Raven. As the Spearman told you, you're speaking to one of the leaders of the Esper Union. But given that you don't know on who I am, because most people do, I'm guessing this isn't our world by any chance. With Izuku saying, wait, your world? So, but that, wait, then realizing you're all calling yourselves Espers. That's what people always called those with that of meta abilities during the dawn of quirks, if I recall in history class. As then, the girl with that of the shrine maid attire and red dress came up and say, quirks? Huh, I've never heard of such a term. You call them they were called meta abilities and espers back in the day what you said. So powers like ours are called quirks by any chance? With then soon the fox girl finally getting back from that of the ground saying, Garo, didn't you listen what they said? And what that of old lady Raven said too? Hearing that of the old parts saying, who are you calling an old lady, you damn brat? As the heteromorphic or animalistic young woman couldn't help but say, see, to Izuku and Inko, they were all basically speaking perfect Japanese, surprisingly. However, for some reason, she basically spoke in Spanish there for a bit, which both caught them off guard, which made Izuku realize that she's possibly from that of South American or possibly Spain, if anything. We're definitely from another world, or we are in another world. Definitely that of Disboom probably came to this world to get the turntable up. Maldición. Maybe this place will have a little bit more fun, if I'm not gonna lie. As she couldn't help but have that of a somewhat mischievous and somewhat excited grin on her face, saying, lo siento. Allow me to introduce myself as well. The name is Arena, or you can call me by that of my, divine Esper ability, Chentico. Nice to meet you, little cute Japanese boy. Hearing that, it caught Izuku completely off guard, being called cute especially right in front of his mother. With Inko, also caught off guard by somebody calling her son that, as nobody has barely complimented her own son due to his, quirklessness after all. Within soon, that's when the cow-looking young woman couldn't help but go to Izuku saying, Elrina, don't you think that you're being too brazen with that of our new DJ here? You're making him feel too uncomfortable. With then going to that of Izuku and Inko, with then placing her hand on Izuku's cheek, with then trying to, as the bell that she has in that of her left hand begins to ring a bit. At the same time, it begins to soothe Izuku's nervousness and also his racing heartbeat. Within saying, there, better now? Within, Ezekiel couldn't help but blush, but not in that of the rushing, kind of way, saying, yeah, thank you, Parmy at your service. I'm just glad I could help. Within, she's stepping back, but soon, Inko saying, so, wait, you're not all quirk users? You're something called Espers? But then Ezek saying, Espers? Powers different from quirks? Young Chung couldn't help but say, yes, actually. Technically, I recently became a Esper, around that of my mid-20s, actually. Most of them have been Espers since they were all kids, or some are recently as well. Within, Raven spoke up saying, I'll step in here. Hey, Alexa, you think you could help me out? Saying, sure. If that of the, Union Queen wants me, then why not? But then, she couldn't help but roll her one good eye before then saying, we Espers are given that of unique and powerful abilities. Most of our abilities range from that of mythological figures throughout human history, legends, lores, that of gods as well. But then, Isaac saying, wait, seriously? But then remembering Dispoon's words back in the antique shop, with then Alexa continuing saying, technically, all of us have that of powers from great warriors whose stories have been told and inspire that of generations, that of mythological creatures with that of unique and powerful abilities, and even that of the very gods themselves. But don't take it too seriously. We're not really have the power of gods themselves. It's just that our powers are tied to those very gods and beings and creatures after all. Nothing more, nothing less. As Drew added his own opinions and abilities, saying, it also changes our appearance sometimes. Sometimes we still look the same and act the same, but most of the time, when we gain that of our powers, it could change our personality, change who we once were. We could be the most kind and most caring person, turned into the most savage and most devious. Or we could have been somebody with that of a cruel and twisted personality, becoming kind, caring, and supportive. When it comes to Espers, it's depending on how we or once was as a person that changes us. Even our backstories could change us too, and our powers can alter our personalities due to certain grudges. That is what we are, Espers, guardians of humanity, given untold power with a price. Hearing these words by that of Drew, Izuki saying, so that's what you all are. It's different from quirks, but so similar in this insane way. This is amazing, but also then soon Izuku can help but look down. Parmy seeing the sad look on Izuku, as it basically she couldn't accept this, saying, what's putting you down, Izuku? There's something clouding your mind. It's basically putting you down. Why is that? Within, Izuku noticing as saying, wait, could you? I can't read your mind, but I could read emotions and facial expressions. It's what I'm good at. Please, tell me. With Izuku's head down, within soon, saying, you guys are Espers, and you keep talking about this Esper union, right? By any chance, were all of you heroes with your powers? Within, hearing that, Arena couldn't help but spoke up saying, oh yeah, we're considered to be the best of the best, protectors of the innocent, defenders who fight against that of the Miramon, and the Shadow Legion as well. We also try to make people smile whenever we can. As she gives off that of a toothy grin showing that of her canines, before then being slapped upside the head by that of Raven saying, can you take anything seriously, girl? As she groans on the ground from that of the, slap upside the head by Raven, Koharu spoke up saying, technically, we all do our own thing. Some of us try to do what we can to help humanity fight against that of the creatures called Miramon, while some of us do our best to protect as many people and save as many lives as we can. There are some Espers that want to cause havoc and chaos. Just as Drew said, there are some Espers who were once good people but turned bad due to their powers. So we must fight against them while protecting humanity at the same time. Is there a reason why, you ask this, Izuku? With Izuku's head down, having that of a nervous, shy, and somewhat scared look on his face, with Inko already aware on what Izuku's about to ask, she also could help but be worried for that of her baby boy. But then saying, I want to be a hero too. I want to protect people. I want to save others. With a smile on my face. To make them feel safe. Like my idol, All Might. But then, hearing that, all of the Espers in the room feels that of Izuku's determination. However, it's somewhat drowned in that of self-doubt and also self-deprecation as well. With Alexa still holding on to that of one of Izuku's limited edition All Might action figures, saying, by any chance, is this All Might? Showing that of the action figure towards Izuku and Inko, with Izuku nodding his head, saying, I see. But then soon, looking at that of the, former criminal Esper, now turned hero, as Young Chin, the Chinese man, spoke up saying, but just by looking at you, Izuku, what do you have any powers by any chance, similar to us Espers? But then, Izuku looking down, shaking his head, saying that he doesn't have powers at all. He doesn't have a quirk at all. With then Raven saying, that's to be expected. I don't sense a single Esper ability from you, boy. And my eyes see in through, and I can see through all. With Izuku's head down even more. However, she did sense something from Izuku. Something due to him using the turntable to basically summon them. But she'd rather keep that to herself until she has a broader understanding of it and of the person that summoned her. As Iko spoke up saying, Izuku, I understand that you've always wanted to be a hero, that you've always wanted to protect others, but it's impossible to be a hero without a quirk. You know this. I really hate saying this again, but I am sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you the quirk that you always wanted. That you could have a quirk to even try to be a hero. As Inko was about to have tears basically fall down her eyes at the same time Izuku was. Before then, Young Chen saying, can I tell you a tale, Miss Inko and Izuku? Within, looking at that of the Chinese spiky-haired man, saying, can I tell you a tale about a young man who picked up a spear to fight for justice. Throughout his life, he wanted to fight for others, protect the weak, and save lives. Even his own mother told him that there's things in a life outside of wielding a spear for that of the weak. The boy at the time didn't understand this. To him, the spear was everything. Protecting the weak was everything. And yet, the boy finally understood that not everything has to revolve around justice alone. It's helping those who understand their place, who understand their conviction, their determination, and their true potential in reaching it is what truly makes justice. Spreading your ideals and your abilities to others without using that of powers. He took in a student who used his powers to basically hurt others, to become the strongest and belittle everyone around him. Even in his early 20s, he was already someone strong with or without Esper abilities, and defeated the young, powerful young man who relied so much on his powers to basically suppress and control others. The young man saw the potential in that of the man who defeated him with no powers, and trained him in how to channel it by giving him a spear of his own, a spear to seek out justice, a spear that protects the innocent, just as he vowed to do the same as well. Hearing this story, Ezekiel couldn't help but basically have that of eyes of resolve and also of kind and that of inspiring. That Young Chin's words continue to basically hit the 12-year-old boy within, saying, however, just as powers alone can't save others, justice alone can't save others too. Sometimes those who basically manipulate the law to their own means to make innocent people suffer don't deserve justice. They deserve to be put down. When the man saw innocent people suffer by these bad men who manipulate the law in their own hands, he made them pay. He sought out a new form of justice. Instead of the blind justice to uphold the ideas of protecting the innocent through that of your will alone, he would defend the innocent, even if it means being seen as a villain, being seen as a criminal, by taking the lives of those who don't deserve to live. And since then, he gained the powers of becoming an Esper who would use his spear to protect the innocent, no matter if he's seen as a hero or a villain. A justice where good people can live their lives without having to lose them in the process. Hearing this from that of Young Chan, Ezekiel saying, Why tell me this? But then, looking at that of the boy, he couldn't help but smirk before then saying, just because you have no power doesn't mean you don't have the will and determination and strength to achieve it. But then going to that of the bed and then kneeling down before then placing his fist over Ezekiel's chest, saying, your heart, your will, you may be been put down over and over again because you don't have any powers or quirks, as you say, but you got the drive and you got the heart to achieve it. If you like, I can help you. But then hearing that, even Inko was caught off guard by this. But then soon, Drew saying, I will do the same as well as Master Young Chen here. Parmy spoke up alongside that of Alexa saying, count us in too, right Alexa? Saying, well, I have nothing else better to do. Seeing on how this world's laws work with that of quirks could be interesting. As the lawyer and politician that Alexa is basically coming off to the surface. Within, Raven saying, you're all serious about basically serving this kid? Within, Kaharu saying, same here. I mean, it's our duty to protect those. Especially, within looking at Izuku, she couldn't help but have that of a kind, loving smile at the boy, saying, if he wants help, we should give it to him. It's what us Espers of the Union should do, right, Miss Raven? As Raven was caught off guard by this, before then, within Arena spoke up, getting off that of the floor and right in that of Raven's face, even though Raven's pretty much taller than her. Come on, you old hag, stop being so stubborn and help the kid out, why don't you? Come on, how can you not say no to such a adorable face like that? Seque no puedo, as she couldn't help but say, I know I can't, in Spanish. Within, Raven couldn't help but have that of a twitching eyebrow, before then taking a deep sigh. At the same time, lightning began to crackle around her, even around that of her single black wing. Before then, soon taking another deep breath, saying, fine, I'll do it. I'll help out this kid and his dream of being a hero too. However, I expect you to basically take our lessons to heart. If you complain even once or even start to basically annoy me, I am going to drop you like a ton of bricks, kid. Got it? Within, hearing this, Inko saying, now hold on. Within, Izuku saying, it's okay, Mom. Within, Inko saying, Izuku saying, she has a right. She just met me, right? So, I gotta have to prove myself. I swear, I will, Miss Raven. I'll give it my all. Within, hearing that, Raven could actually hear the determination from the kid saying, Then you better not disappoint me. Within soon, Alexa clapping her hands saying, now then, we have all settled this. Why don't we all probably get out of this room? I think we need to know about our new accommodations. Within, soon hearing that, within Adrena saying, oh yeah, definitely. I need to see what we're dealing with, what our new digs is. As out of the fox-like girl basically runs out of Ezekiel's room, within Carl saying, apologies for her. I'll keep an eye on her. Adrena, stop running, and take your shoes off too. This is a Japanese home after all. With Raven sighing, saying, those kids are going to be the death of me. Within, Drew walking up next to that of the tall, white-haired woman saying, no need to be so down, Lady Miss Raven. I'll always be here to support and aid you when I can, as a fellow Esper and member of the Union. Within, Raven can help but smirk, saying, if there's one thing that's always consistent, I can always count on you, Drew. With Drew placing his hand on his chest and having his other hand behind him, saying, as a simple butler, it's what I do best. As the two soon leave that of Ezekiel's room as well, leaving only 3 Espers left. With then, Inko saying, I should probably go check on them. Please be safe, Ezekiel. With then saying, and also thank you for giving my baby at least some chance. But please don't be so hard on him. Within, Young Chin saying, I'll do my best. Within, Alexa saying, same here. If anything, I always love a challenge, to be honest. With Parman saying, I always want to help those in need. Helping one achieve their dreams is something I always like to do whenever I can. Hearing these words from the Espers, she soon leaves. Within soon, Young Jin saying, well then, Izuku, starting tomorrow, I hope you're ready to become a warrior and a hero you can be admired of. Then Izuku saying, I promise, I won't let any of you down. As he bows his head, within soon, Young Jin can up and say, didn't think I would take in another new student so soon. With Farm saying, he's so cute. I can't wait to keep on protecting him. With Alexa could up think, boy has a lot of potential. Last time I checked, the legal age here in Japan has always been 16. As she couldn't help but lick her lips, saying, I'm going to enjoy teasing him until then. As the remaining 3 Espers also leave Izuku's room. As this would be the start on how Ezekiel would become a great hero from other heroes of other mythologies. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I did this pretty well? Or do you think I added too much exposition and not enough showing after all? If that's so, please be honest. I need to know. Next part, we'll be going through that of a time skip. Well, basically blitzing through that of Izuku's training with that of his newly added Espers in his life. Not to mention, unlike that of heroic spirits and that of, well, the visions and even that of the, well, Covenant heroes from Epic 7, the Espers are basically still people just summoned from another world. They're basically free to do whatever they please. However, they will listen to Izuku because he is their boss. However, unlike that of a heroic spirits, he doesn't have command seals to fully order them around if they do something stupid. It's the reason on why Raven's not so, well, keen on basically listening or basically being ordered to order around Izuku. Let's just say there may be some Espers that can basically do their own thing or cause problems for Izuku in the near future. Who could say? At any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please go to my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys. Hope you all take care. Finish it off, my Shiro.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!